Well, hey folks, how's it all going? Welcome back. And oh man, today we're talking about scroll saws, tips, tricks, and cutting 2x4. So if you're interested in cutting 2x4, here's a 2x4 project I did. My wife's nickname, a lot of her friends, is Mouse. So and this is just out of a regular. That's not a 2x4, folks. Nothing fancy there. But cutting 2x4s on a scroll saw, a lot of people are used to seeing people cut like nothing really thicker than 3/4 inch, but you can do very successfully 2x4s out of the scroll saw. So I tell you what, let's talk about some tips and some tricks, and then we'll show you how to do some of these 2x4 cuts. Well, here's the first tip, folks, is go on YouTube and go to this guy, Steve Good. I tell you what, there's nobody who's got more knowledge that I know when it comes to scroll saw and scroll saw patterns than this guy right there. He's got his own blog spot. He offers on his blog spot, he offers all these free templates you can download, all the letters that you see me using, like here. It doesn't cost you nothing. You can print them up and that. He's got some cool patterns. Look at that one. I plan on making that one here. It's just an all-around knowledgeable guy. A lot of the tips that I'm showing you today are variations or are tips that I've learned from Steve Good. So let's keep on going and take a look at a couple more. All right, here's a real simple one. I've got a piece of oak here that I know is nice and true, and I put a square, and I used a fine tip permanent magic marker to draw a square line on there. Now, instead of taking a square and putting it up against trying to get it, by my blade, I can just take this and put it behind my blade, and that shows whether I'm square or not. Now, I'm going to put some Velcro on this and just stick it onto the side of the stand on my scroll saw. But that's a real simple way of checking squareness between the blade and the table on your scroll saw. All right, so lights. Lights are a big deal when you're scrolling, making sure that you've got good lights. And I found these. I'm going to leave a link down below to a video I did on these. These are sewing machine lights, and they're just magnets, and they are super duper bright. And they're current. And the nice thing about it is that not only is there a magnet, but there's a rubber gasket there that keeps it from sliding. And that's what makes it the key when you're operating your scroll saw here, is that see that they don't move. So that's a great thing about that. Like I said, I'll leave the link down below. These are like $10 on Amazon a piece, and they work fantastic. All right, here's another Steve Good invention, and you can see that that's the same as. And this really comes in handy when you get these over tightened and you can't get them off, and especially for going underneath the table. And you see what I did is I put a line on both sides that lines up with the ends there. Now I did mine a little bit differently. When I attached it, I off-centered it so it don't roll away on you. But he did magnets and everything. You can do whatever you want, but it's just a great idea for making it easier to get and release your blades and tighten them back up. Another great idea from Steve Good. All right, so handling blades in a scroll saw. A lot of times we have problems with them not really loosening, but stretching. So I've watched so many guys who will install a new blade, tighten it up, then undo the top clamp, loosen it up, and retighten it and get the stretch out of it. Now, another thing I've also noticed is that sometimes just taking a piece of sandpaper and wrapping that piece of sandpaper around the top of your blade and sanding the top of that blade a little bit will, number one, if there's any grease on there or oil from the manufacturing process, it'll take it off, and then it also will scratch up that surface and make it stick a little bit better in there, and that's really, really important in my opinion. All right, scrolling 2x4s, like I said, I think it's super simple to do. Here I'm making a little project for my grandson Baker, and what I'm going to do here is, you can say it says Baker is, and you're wondering what this is. So there's going to be another board that'll go underneath, and then I'm going to have a piece of plywood that's going to have like a birthday cake out of it. And then I'm going to make a series of numbers, and then every year Baker will be able to change how old he is, by sticking it on the birthday cake, if he's 1, 2, or 3. So it's one of those things that even when Grandpa's gone, Baker can still have. So, when it comes to scrolling 2x4s, there's a couple things going on here, folks, I want to talk about. Number one is this letter pattern. I love this letter pattern because there's really no straight lines. So, you know, even if you screw up a little bit, no one's ever going to notice it. You can see I'm also using the Steve Good idea of using painter's tape down first, and then using the spray adhesive to put down the paper. It makes getting the paper off easy because all you do is you take off the adhesive, and Steve says this lubricates up the blade. I don't know about that, but apparently it works. So I'm going to continue doing some scrolling here. I'll let you watch a little bit as we do the E and maybe the R. I know it gets a little monotonous after a while, but I'll show you just so you have an idea of what's going on. It's hard to narrate this. When it comes to doing 2x4, just go slow. Let the machine do all the work. No different than any other scrolling. Let's see, I'm off the line a little bit, but that's okay. Once it's sanded down, nobody's gonna know. Well, you'll know. And I'll know, but it won't bother me. This type of wood is probably Doug fir. Could be pine too, but 2x4s here in the Midwest are mostly Douglas fir. Whoopsie. See, now that one I went a little bit too far, so I can back up. Get back on track there. This has got to be fascinating to watch. I used to have a plastic template years ago that was the same style lettering, the same size and everything. You can see I'm way off the line there, but once again, you just go with the flow. No one's going to notice. But anyway, you could trace it with a piece of paper. With a pencil. And I don't know what happened to it. I've moved like 3 times since I've been in this current home. And somewhere along the line, it done disappeared. So now we're going to go over to the yard. Now you may be asking how often you got to change the blade when you're doing 2x4s. When I start to see smoke, or you can smell it's burning, it's time to change. I've been doing this whole project here so far with just the same blade. And obviously if you were doing this out of oak, and I've done some stuff out of oak, it's obviously gonna dull quicker. Alright, let me get out of these letters and I'll give you a look-see. Alright, getting down to the end here. I'll tell you what, let's go a little bit further on the S. Make it a little bit more pronounced. There we go. All right, now this is a real test too to see how square your machine is cutting. She slides off real good, and she's sliding off kind of good. Maybe it's not cutting so square. Go back the other way. Get some sawdust in there. There we go. She comes out. So you can see that's no burning. A couple little knots there, and that was just with one blade. And cuts real nice. So all you gotta do then is take off the painter's tape and sand it. And I gotta drill all my insides there, my K, my A, my B, my R, and cut out the insides. But super simple to do, folks. I hope this was helpful for you. Like I said, check out Steve Good. I'll leave the link to his YouTube channel down below, and then also the link to these lights, because these lights, I'll tell you what, since I've got these lights now, DeWalt does sell a light, but in my opinion, this was 20 bucks. I'm not sure what the DeWalt light is, but I think it's more than 20 bucks. In fact, I would bet that it's more than 20 bucks. And these do the trick, and they do it very nicely. So, Tom Horseman and YouTube, folks, please subscribe. Thumbs up, leave a comment, and as always, can't say it enough. Thanks for watching.